Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. Today, we're talking quickly about LeBron, apparently missing the first 3 to 4 weeks of the season. We're going to talk about Giannis Antetokounmpo and a story that ESPN wrote that I'm very interested in talking about, and that I'm sure Andrew Claudio is interested in talking about. And finally, we're going to do a projected win total draft that we will explain the rules of before we start drafting. They are a little bit complicated, but not that complicated. Andrew and Bryce will be joining me, but first, let's hit the music.
They do have a timeout. Decide not to use it. Way downtown.
Bang! Bang! What's this gonna be? Wow! Are you kidding me?
Hello and welcome to the Game Theory Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Vecenie. But if you watch the tape, what you will see completely orchestrated this game. Bryce, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, Sam? Can I give my bad dad of the year story real quick?
Sure.
So anybody who follows me on Facebook, who probably aren't many of our listeners, saw that on Monday, the school that my son attends posted a video of them doing roller skating in PE class. Okay. And my son is struggling, like not looking like an athlete. So me and my wife, being the good parents that we are and former college athletes, absolutely destroy him when he gets home. Like, look like an athlete. You go back tomorrow. You do better, et cetera, et cetera. So Tuesday he goes back and I get a text from the nurse middle of the day. Hey, Rowan rolled his ankle rollerblading or roller skating in PE class. So me being the great dad that I am, he shows up to football practice. Start doing your ankle rehabs, walk heel to toe, do not limp, ice, all of this. You have a flag football game on Saturday. You're going to tough through this, like blah, blah, blah. Do that all day. Tuesday night, Wednesday. All of a sudden, Wednesday, my wife sends me a picture of where he says the pain is, which is the front of the leg, kind of a little bit more in the shin area.
So it's like a shin splint.
No, it's worse than that. So he ends up getting evaluated. He broke his leg. He had a broken bone in his leg. And for 24 hours, I was like, rehab your ankle sprain, do the old school ABCs, keep it moving.
Kid was killing it for playing on a broken leg.
Listen, he took it like a champ. And I am absolutely worst dad of the year for going in on him like that. So sorry, Ro.
Taking L's.
Sorry, Ro.
Gotta apologize in open forums.
Yeah,
like
that's right. That's right.
That's right.
That's right.
Make sure the people know that you've made some errors in your life.
Yeah.
Okay. So today we're going to talk about a bunch of things. Before we get into that, we've got to shout out the Substack. Go to the Substack, Game Theory, samv.substack.com. Earlier this week, I did 2 breakdowns of Michael Brown, point guard going to Louisville, both like an hour long, like really in depth in the weeds on the way he reads the court, his passing ability, his shooting ability, the defensive questions that I certainly have, but why he's a potential top 10 pick, basically in the upcoming 2026 NBA draft. Really, really fun player. Those are both live behind the paywall. I think you get like 15 minutes or so each of those if you want to get a feel for it, that are in front of the paywall. So you can go and watch and check it out. Today, Bryce, he did a breakdown of Cooper Flagg, his first preseason game that was quite good. So I would strongly recommend going to watch Bryce's breakdown of Cooper Flagg, having absolutely played incredibly well in his first preseason game. I'm debating whether or not today I do a Shaedon Sharpe breakdown, because I really enjoyed his game against Golden State last night and really liked the pace of play, the coordination and everything. So I swear, like I was thinking that like we would do, 8 pieces of content or so a month and like it'd be worthwhile that way. Like the level to which Bryce and I are kind of putting stuff out right now, people are getting more than their money's worth for subscribing to the Substack. It is $6 a month. We appreciate everybody who comes to subscribe. Go check it out. GameTheorySamV.substack.com. It is the absolute best way that you can support the show. Okay. Let's talk about LeBron James now.
Okay.
Real quick. So LeBron James, it was just announced like within the hour that he's going to miss the first 3 to 4 weeks of the NBA season with sciatica in his right side. It's interesting that he's going to be out this time. We've kind of talked about part of the reason that we're interested in the Lakers and why I think we all ended up taking their over was the idea that they have the ability to kind of make up for shot creation with guys like Luka, Austin Reeves, everything. They also have more depth than what they had last year with Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia kind of taking up the just role that was only taken up by Dorian Finney-Smith. I do think this really limits their depth in a real way while LeBron is out for these 3 to 4 weeks. Hopefully he only ends up missing, given that we're about 2 weeks away from the start of the season, right around, a week, 2 weeks at the first start of the year. But obviously a big deal anytime that LeBron is going to be out injured. He's been essentially like RoboCop in basketball form where, he's just indestructible. So, you see this news. What is your reaction, Bryce?
Yeah, so my immediate reaction is like not overly worried in terms of like what this means for the start to the Lakers season and their season as a whole, other than if it's like, is this the sign, Sam? Are we going to be looking back 8 months from now or however long the season is and going, yep, we should have known then that this was going to start to be lingering or lead to something else, and the age was finally going to catch up to LeBron. If we're not saying that, I don't think him. Like, listen, I'm not trying to like make this an indictment. Like LeBron isn't awesome. I'm not trying to do that. I swear. But do I think the Lakers can weather the storm for a couple weeks without him? Especially at the start of the season when people are fresh. Luka seems to be in great shape. I do, as long as Luka and now Austin Reeves becomes extremely important because you absolutely have to stagger those guys. And as you mentioned, and as we've talked about in terms of starting lineup stuff, Marcus Smart, Jake LaRavia, those guys become really important now because one of those guys is, I assume, stepping into the starting lineup and, going to have to make shots off the ball and really defend. I caught a Lakers preseason game. I thought Gabe Vincent actually looked pretty good in the game that I watched of them play. So maybe this is a chance for him to get into a rhythm to start the season. So big picture, my worry is this a sign of things to come? My answer to that right now would be no. Hopefully not for LeBron and the Lakers, but I think they do have the roster to weather the storm, especially early in the season when theoretically everybody is fresh.
I think that's right. Just looking through the Lakers schedule here early in the year, their preseason schedule is Golden State, Phoenix, Dallas, and Sacramento. They still have 4 preseason games, but the first 2 games of their schedule are at home, but it's Golden State and Minnesota. Tough teams that we expect to be in the playoffs. Top 5 teams, certainly in the Western Conference, in my opinion. Then their next 2 are Sacramento and Portland. That would get you out to the 3.5 week window that we're kind of hoping for here. Or that'd get you to 3 weeks. I'm sorry, I did math bad there. And then Minnesota on the road, Memphis on the road, home against Miami. That gets you out to the 4 week mark. I think that's kind of what you're hoping here is, maybe he misses the first 3 games or whatever. And then he's back for that Portland game at home, Monday, the 27th. I think that feels like a reasonable assessment within the window of 3 to 4 weeks. But, if not, maybe it's November 2nd at home against Miami. Maybe it's, Halloween against Memphis. I will not be watching that Halloween game. I'm going to Oasis on Halloween this year. I'm very excited about that, Bryce. But
yeah, me too. That's awesome.
Yeah, I know you're pumped. You know who Oasis is. Definitely.
I definitely know a bunch of their songs and some of their most famous ones that I'm not looking up right now.
So this is just a wait and see to me. Like, I'm not that worried about the LeBron injury right now. Hopefully he's just able to work his way into shape as the season goes. I do wonder if this could be like a little bit of a slower build, honestly.
Sure.
Like, that could be a question. Like, even when he gets back, he's kind of working his way back into game shape totally. And, it could take like a couple weeks beyond the 3 to 4 week window just for him to like really be rolling. But yeah, I'm not that. I don't see this as like a major red flag cause for concern yet.
Yeah, I'm with you as well. I think they can mitigate it for a short spurt, and as long as it's not a sign of bigger things, they're going to be fine. It'll be okay.
So what I do think is a major red flag cause for concern, if you're a Milwaukee fan, unfortunately, is the Giannis situation. But I don't know that we necessarily have new information there. Maybe we'll talk about some new information that has occurred. But before we do that, we want to shout out our friends over at PrizePicks. PrizePicks. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this football season on PrizePicks, where it is good to be right. PrizePicks is an incredibly easy, fun way to go on ahead and get you paid during football season. Tonight, we've got a really fun game with the New York Giants and Philadelphia Eagles. I love the fact that you can do stacks on PrizePicks. And by stacks, I mean you can stack Jackson Dart to get over 0.5 touchdowns, passing touchdowns, that is, and Jackson Dart over 38.5 rushing yards. My theory on this is that he has been pretty good with Theo Johnson in the red zone. Theo Johnson's just like massive tight end from Penn State, super athlete. I think they get down to the red zone once and he'll throw a touchdown to, maybe Theo Johnson, maybe Bellinger, one of the tight ends. And then just given Philadelphia's ability to get after the quarterback, I'm going to guess that he's going to have to run for his life. And I think he's going to go over 38.5 yards. Jackson Dart, very sneaky rushing quarterback that is very good at it. So we're going to go with those two, and then we're going to get A.J. Brown involved. I think A.J. Brown.
Real quick, Sam, updated news here on Jalen Carter not playing tonight, inactive for this game. D tackle for the Philadelphia Eagles. So
interesting. So then we're also going to go A.J. Brown, who's obviously been in the news quite a bit recently due to some frustrations he seems to have, the fact that he's not getting the ball. I think they figure this out, and they get him the ball tonight. We're going to go over 0.5 touchdowns for A.J. Brown tonight as well. So Dart over 0.5 passing touchdowns, Dart over 38.5 rushing yards, A.J. Brown over 0.5 TDs. That's what we're riding with tonight over on PrizePicks. It is the only app that offers stacks, meaning you can pick the same player up to 3 times in the same lineup. If you wanted to pick Jackson Dart, pass yards, rushing yards, and touchdowns, you can do that. You can follow other PrizePicks players directly on the app as well and copy their lineups in one click. Whether it's a friend, a celebrity partner, or just someone whose picks you like, you hit the follow button, check out every lineup they create in the new feed tab on PrizePicks. Download the PrizePicks app today and use the code GameTheory to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code GameTheory to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. Okay. Next up, it's time to talk about Giannis. And to do that, we've got to bring GMAC up on the stage. Andrew, come join. So the New York Knicks are involved in this conversation because of a Shams report over at ESPN, where I found it very interesting. I found it very intriguing, at the very least, to kind of learn more about what's going on in the background with Giannis. Giannis is very quiet, it feels like, as a human being, in terms of not wanting to like really get into the muck and get into the mess on this stuff. So Shams writes this story. I'm trying to pull it up as we talk.
We're doing the same thing, by the way. I'm looking for it.
Yeah, basically saying, he explained like how John Horst went out and did a face-to-face meeting with Giannis and his agent Yorgos. And basically they kind of discussed, Horst said, hey, we're doing this. Giannis said, okay, I'm concerned. I want to win a title. That's my goal here at the end of the day. Eventually, they came to an agreement where Giannis was going to be on the team this year and everything was going to be fine. A part of this as well is that I guess that since May, Giannis's agency has been fielding interest in him, which is unsurprising, right? And Giannis's team has conducted due diligence on best possible outside fits should the star and his reps push to be traded from the Bucks. Several teams were discussed internally, but one emerged as the only place Giannis wanted to play outside of Milwaukee, the New York Knicks. Multiple sources with direct knowledge of the situation told ESPN. The Bucks picked up the Knicks' call on Antetokounmpo, and the sides engaged in conversations for a window of time, but the teams never got traction on a deal. One weird thing that I'll talk about momentarily, New York, for its part, believes the Bucks were never serious about entertaining an Antetokounmpo trade. The multi-week process was described by one source with direct knowledge of the talks as an exclusive negotiating window. That just doesn't totally track for me, to be honest. That doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. But Andrew, I'm sure you were excited to see this news that Giannis is very pumped about the New York Knicks. One thing before we do this entire thing, I do just want to call out that Giannis did do a press conference yesterday. And we do know how Giannis's feeling on this is. First of all, I haven't read that story. When the season starts, I try to get off social media and I try to focus on my craft and the team. But yeah, I've said this many times. I want to be in a situation that I can win. And now I'm here. I believe in this team. I believe in my teammates. I'm here to lead this team to wherever we can go. And it's definitely going to be hard. We're going to take it day by day, but I'm here. So all the extra stuff does not matter. I think I've communicated with my teammates, communicated with the people I respect and love, that the moment I step on this court or in this facility, I wear this jersey. The rest does not matter. I'm locked into whatever I have in front of me. Now, if in 6-7 months I change my mind, I think that's human too. You're allowed to make any decision you want, but I'm locked in. I'm locked into this team. I'm locked into these guys, to this group, to this coaching staff, and to myself. Okay, so I wanted to read the Giannis quote before I let you kind of go wild here, Andrew, because I'm sure this is exciting for you. Andrew, your thoughts on Giannis apparently being excited by the New York Knicks?
Well, first of all, hello, Sam, and hello, Bryce. Thank
Hi.
you for having me on the show once again today. I'm excited for what we're gonna get to do later with this projected wins draft. Also, to all those celebrating, happy Yankees Elimination Day. It's always a great day when this happens once every year. You say I was excited by this, and I think you worded it correctly, that I'm excited that Giannis is excited about the Knicks, because guess what? So am I, as currently constructed. And since this wasn't anything that was going to happen this summer, because the actual reaction I had to Shams' report was more so, it wasn't like, oh wow, we're getting Giannis. It was, that's interesting. That's probably that's a thing that happened this summer. Also, a little behind the scenes, and I'll just bring some of our conversations from the summer to light, Sam. I had heard from someone when I was about to go on vacation over the summer that something like this was happening, that Giannis and the Knicks, or Giannis's representatives, or the Bucks and the Knicks were talking. And what I do normally when I hear little things like that is go to people that know more than me to see how legitimate it is, which is why I just asked you, should I be prepared to interrupt my vacation? And you, not to divulge our full conversation, we're like, go on vacation. You're fine. Yeah. And it was more so me taking that to think this didn't happen. What I was hearing was wrong. And now it was, oh, so they were talking. That person wasn't coming from nowhere. And not to say that you said that wasn't real. It was just I think you're fine. I don't think the Bucks will trade him for what the Knicks have, let alone without shopping him, which then backs up in this story that Shams reported, which is a long way of saying, look, years ago, this would be the only thing that mattered in New York. This would be the only droplet of news that a Knicks fan was excited about. Oh my gosh, someone actually wants to come here and put words on it, apparently. Like Knicks fans have gone through the ringer of, are we getting Kevin Durant? Are we getting LeBron? Are we getting Donovan Mitchell? Are we getting this player, this star? When is the savior coming here? And I'm happy to report Jalen Brunson came 3 years ago, and the franchise has kind of been on an upward trajectory ever since to contender status. So it is cool that we're the contender that the superstar that may be frustrated with his situation wants to go to. But this isn't happening, obviously, during the summer or before training camp. And this can kind of lead the conversation if you want to. I don't think this is going to happen during the season. And more to the Knicks' involvement in this, outside of Giannis really exerting his player empowerment and saying, I'm not extending with anybody but the Knicks, I don't think the Knicks have the package to beat several other teams that can be called contenders. So there is a lot of reality in how Knicks fans, specifically me and the content creators up there, have processed this. It wasn't as earth-shattering or news gathering. How do I put this? This wasn't the biggest headline of this week. It was cool that Giannis wanted to go to the Knicks.
Yeah, the Knicks have been like rumored for Giannis for a while. Like, this isn't wildly new information, in my opinion. That, like, the theory was for a while that Giannis would have interest in the Knicks. Now, like, I think where it's a little bit different here is that seemingly the Knicks were the choice as opposed to just like having interest. But like, I don't really think that's new. Before I kind of give my whole spiel on this whole thing, and I'll talk about Giannis as well within this. Bryce, like, do you have any thoughts on this whatsoever? Like, before we kind of go?
You guys got it. You guys know where I'm at right now. And I got a taste of preseason basketball and games and analysis. And so now I'm just like so over all of this stuff. I'm more interested in like, what would that trade, what would that look like? How would you guys feel about what the trade would look like? How would it all fit together? Like all of that. Like, I think that's kind of interesting to talk about.
So real quick, before you go, Sam, we had Ian Bagley, who covers the Knicks for SNY, has done so for decades now. We had him on over at Knicks Film School. He did say the Knicks made a competitive, like a real offer. Like, they didn't just go in and say Pacome Dadier and like the swap we didn't send to Brooklyn. Like, they actually made a legitimate offer, but he didn't actually say what the offer was. And to this reporting, and then obviously to what Ian heard as well, neither side went into this conversation all that seriously, it seems. And I think I never at any point in processing this story, reading this story, thought like, oh, there was a moment this summer where the Knicks almost got Giannis. It was like, oh, they talked. And to your point, Bryce, the reaction I've gotten from a lot of our audience is like, the Knicks play Thursday. Like, we want to watch this basketball team that has been built that we're very excited about. We'd like to move on from the offseason speculation and the rumors. So this wasn't the story of the week for Knicks, in the Knicks world, at least. I'm sure it was in the Bucks world, and I'll hand it over to you, Sam.
So this story confused me on multiple fronts, kind of just straight up when I saw it. So first and foremost is the timing of it. Obviously came on the night of the first Bucks preseason game. I'm sure that played a role just in the programming side of it, from like just having worked at a media company for a long time, understanding the programming decisions that go in. I'm sure that like that was a piece of it for sure. First preseason game, let's get something out on Giannis. I'm not totally sure why. So the angle that I'm almost certain of, and that I feel quite confident of, is that like the Knicks did not leak this. Like, I would say that like pretty strongly. A lot of the detail seems to come from, meetings between the Bucks and Giannis, or, Giannis's representation, meeting with teams. It's like trying to figure out, maybe not meeting with teams, but having like informal conversations with teams, things like that. That's what that seemed like to me in terms of like where this would be coming from. I don't know that. I'm just kind of spitballing here based off of the way of the report. Right. But But like, if you're the Knicks, like, I don't really think you want this out there. Like, it just serves to kind of fuck with what's going on a little bit with your team. The second piece of it in terms of timing is just like, this isn't happening now. Like, I guess I get that I guess this is news, right? Like, it's news that he would want to go to New York, but like, this isn't happening. Like, these trade conversations occur. It just kind of feeds the slot machine a little bit. Not the slot machine, the slop machine. Shout out, ball. It is absolutely just kind of, feeding that ecosystem more than anything to me. And I don't know, given that like it's not happening right now, like it's very clearly spelled out that it's not happening right now. It's strange. It's very strange. And then just like detail wise in this thing, right? And I'm not calling out Shams. Like I'm sure that this is what he got and everything, but just like logically, right? The Knicks have in no way, shape, or form the ability to get the best offer. My read from everything that I knew was that if Giannis made it really hard on Milwaukee this summer, which he chose not to, was that Milwaukee would open it up, right? Like, they weren't just going to be like, Giannis, where do you want to go? Right? They weren't just going to be like, oh yeah, like this is fine.
Hold on, I have a question. Is it good to shop a superstar to try to get the best offer in said trade? Is that good?
Well, that's literally where I was going. So we're coming off of.
Hold on. Can I follow up Bryce's? Hold on. Can I follow up Bryce's question?
Sam missed my joke.
Question?
Sam doesn't want to play
my
my
follow
joke.
up Bryce's question with another question? What if the person shopping the said superstar goes out to coffee with a longtime friend and is convinced it's actually not? Then is the circumstances different?
This is exactly my point. We're coming off of the spring, really the winter, I guess, but like winter into springtime, where we just saw what happens to a GM that trades a superstar without shopping him.
Yeah,
right?
You get the number one pick. Good process gets rewarded by the basketball gods.
Yeah, you're saying that if the Bucks have traded Giannis to the Knicks this summer, AJ DeBanza would be a buck in 9 months, is what you're saying.
That is Darren Peterson disrespect right there. GM.
Excuse me, I'm literally just going by what has been going up on the Substack. I'm just going in order. Okay.
Darren's next week. Sorry, Andrew. So there's like, if you get absolutely excoriated by the public if you don't open it up, is the reality. And like, that's how John Horst loses his job, is trading Giannis without opening it up. The idea of it being an exclusive negotiating window in that respect is very strange. And assuming that that is true, it says to me what Shams wrote in the story is right, that the Bucks never had interest in trading Giannis. On top of that, if they did actually have interest in trading Giannis, there's no way that this becomes that was bad. Exclusive. Exclusive is a hard word to say whenever you're talking fast. There's no way that this becomes exclusive because the Knicks don't have anything that the Bucks should want, right? Like, at the end of the day, like, I'm sorry to Karl Towns, I'm sorry to OG Anunoby, Jalen Brunson, everybody involved in everything, right? Those guys don't really help the Bucks. If they're trading Giannis, they are rebuilding, right? Like, that's just the reality of the situation. That is what it is. So, given that that is the case, I just don't think that the Knicks could do this without involving a third team, which automatically makes it non-exclusive on some level, because you're involving a third team to get involved in the mix. Like, if the Knicks go to somebody and say, hey, do you have interest in Karl Towns? Do you know how fucking easy it's going to be for that team to understand, oh, I wonder who they're going for if they're moving Karl Towns. They're not moving Karl Towns unless it's for like a legit superstar. It's a list of probably 3 names. You know what I mean? So automatically it becomes non-exclusive at that point, if it's like a serious deal. And assuming Shams' reporting is correct, and Shams is good at this, right? Like, I would assume that was the biggest sign to me that the Knicks never really were in the ball game with this, right? And that the Bucks just weren't really all that interested. And that's the information that I had gotten. That's why we talked about it a little bit pre-draft, Bryce, like you and I, like on the show. But we stopped after a point because it was just like, this isn't happening. That was kind of what I was told, is that it wasn't happening. They didn't want to move him, especially after they did the Turner deal. Like, it was going to take like heaven and earth being moved at that point within the Bucks side to move him, because they wanted to see what this team could be, basically. And anytime that you're trading one of the 20 best players of all time, you're probably going to lose on the deal, and you're probably going to lose, right? Like, you're probably going to lose for a long time moving forward after such a deal. So there's not a whole lot of excitement about this. So all of that just made this report very strange to me, I guess. And then the Giannis press conference comes yesterday, and I felt like a lot of people took that the wrong way. I think a lot of people took it as like, oh, Giannis knows what he's doing. He's doing this, like he's opening it up. He's making it known that he might not be in Milwaukee long term. I don't think we learned anything new about Giannis's thought process there, because I think the thing with Giannis, from talking to people that have covered him for years, for talking to people around the league, everything, he's not really one of those guys that goes in with like ulterior motives into press conferences and things like that. He just kind of says what's on his mind. And in that moment, what was on his mind was just, look, like, I'm here now. I'm going to go. And if we know anything about Giannis, when he's on the court, he is going to absolutely play as hard as humanly possible, because he is a crazy competitor that absolutely plays at the foremost of what his abilities are in terms of effort, energy. Like, there's no chance they're going to Jimmy Butler, like that he would Jimmy Butler this situation, right? Like, it's just not who he is. So I think he just said, look, like, I'm here right now. Like, I think about this stuff every summer. I want to win a title. These aren't new words from Giannis. Nothing of what he said yesterday is new information for anybody that's been like paying attention to Giannis here. Like, I don't think he goes in and is like, yeah, I'm going to leak here that, in 6 or 7 months, I might rethink this whole thing, everything like that. Right. I think he just says, look, like, I've been open about this the entire time I've been here, that I want to win titles. That's my first and foremost, like, most important thing. And yeah, does it suck for Bucks fans that he left the door open? Sure. But like, the thing is that, like, I think Bucks fans are looking at it because they know that this is how he operates. Like, he just kind of talks. Like, he doesn't, it's kind of refreshing to me. Like, he just is who he is. You know what I mean? And he just speaks and he just goes with it. And if in 6 or 7 months he's feeling differently, that might be the case, right? That's also something that Bucks fans know. What I think is frustrating more than anything for Bucks fans about this entire situation is that this has been going on now for 2 years? Like, he literally signed an extension and it continued, right? Because honestly, like, I have no problem saying this. Like, ESPN has been asking these questions for a long time. It's not just Shams. It's, it's been a thing at ESPN to kind of raise this question for quite a long time, right? And I think what is most frustrating for them as a Bucks fan community is that they've had to deal with this when he's been like clear that he's there and has 2 feet down, right? And when they were clearly competing for a title and there wasn't really a chance that he was going to leave. Now that they do have to deal with this, unfortunately, now, because there is a chance that he could leave within a year or so of now, right? We'll talk about the in-season thing in a second, Andrew, but like, I think what's frustrating is more the length of time that they had to deal with this over and over and over again. And now it's like when you hear it again, it's like, well, we've been hearing this now for 3 years, like from the same entity, essentially. Why would we, take this one as the one that is serious? And the reality is that the circumstances have changed. Like his contract has 2 years left on it. He is on a team that's worse than any team he's been on from a roster perspective on paper in quite some time, maybe 6 years, 7 years, right? So the circumstances unfortunately have changed, which means this conversation does have to continue. But I do feel really badly for Bucks fans because they have had to do this and had to deal with this for so long now. And this conversation has gone on for so long now.
GMAC?
Anybody?
Yeah, I'm in a weird spot where the Knicks have never, like, from a Bucks fan perspective, I'm going to try and put myself in other people's shoes here. And I've been blessed, but also not blessed that not many great players have played for the Knicks since like Patrick Ewing. It's been like Carmelo Anthony, Amari Stoudemire.
Amari.
So that's funny. You know this, Sam, like over at Knicks Film School, we spent our summer doing a countdown, a 25 episode series of the top 25 Knicks of the past 25 seasons. And let me tell you, it was dire. It's like Dante DiVincenzo for a year, Deuce McBride now. And there's not a lot of Hall of Famers on that list. And I've never had the experience of a guy coming to the Knicks or being a homegrown Knick that suddenly wanted to leave because of the market or the lack of success or the franchise not being able to put the right people around him or just the guy eyeballing someplace else like New York. So I feel for Bucks fans that I do want to give Horst credit. He's very much been aggressive when needing to pivot, made the Drew Holiday trade, made the Dame Lillard trade, did what they did this summer with Turner. And for Bucks fans, it's got to be like, hey, we're trying, man. But if it's not enough, we understand if you go elsewhere. I do agree with you at the end of the day that, and this is, I guess, maybe we can more discuss, like, this is the exclusive window never made sense to me either. And are you hinting that this could be a mid-season thing? Like Luka got traded mid-season, anything could happen. But
yeah, like,
wouldn't more teams be able to get involved at the end of the year when the new league year is changed and rosters expand during the off season? Like, wouldn't it make more sense? Plus, you get to play this playoffs out with this Eastern Conference with Giannis.
Yeah, like I can't imagine that Milwaukee is going into the season thinking that it's a mid-season thing. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine that would be the reality. I don't know though. Like if the right team came to you with the right offer, I don't know that I'm opposed. And here's the big reason why this is the case to me. I think the Bucks held a lot more leverage this summer if they had chosen to move Giannis than what they will next summer. And the reason for that is the contract, right? He would have 1 year left plus a player option. So realistically, probably only 1 year left if they take him into next offseason. This year, it would have been 2. I think Giannis is so good that there would have been absolutely no issue from any team league-wide that wanted Giannis if he had like asked out or whatever, even if he had said, yeah, I want to go to the Knicks, right? I don't think that would have stopped a team like, I'm not specifying these teams specifically. I'm only saying them because they have a lot of young assets that I think that Milwaukee would be interested in. Like if Houston or San Antonio wanted to get involved, I don't think the fact that he had called out New York would have stopped them from getting involved because they're like, shit, we get a 2-year window with Giannis. Like, let's go for it.
2 playoff runs. Yeah, that makes sense.
We get 2 playoff runs. Like, let's give this a shot and just see if this like goes incredibly well. Right. And if he leaves after 2 years and we stack a title, like probably worth it at the end of the day.
Or just the point you just said, this isn't a guy in Giannis that if I make a decision now, it'll be the same decision in 2 years. Maybe he likes Houston
Loves
or
it.
San Antonio. I'll sign a max extension. Why not? The Knicks seem to be doing fine without me.
Yeah. So there's that piece of it. Whereas, like, if it's only 1 year that you're getting Giannis for, and you have to convince him over that 1 year, which look like the Cavs did this with Donovan Mitchell, right? Like teams can do this. Like I think that there would be teams that have more assets than the Knicks that would get involved and just say, screw it, it's Giannis. Like we're doing this for a year. Giannis is so good that you just kind of go for it, I think, at the end of the day. But I wonder if there are a couple teams that might get cold feet. Like if you're San Antonio and you're building this long term with Wemby, right? And you have all these pieces locked in long term. And you're looking at this as a big, wide open window with Wemby, where you're trying to do like kind of what Oklahoma City did, where you're building this crazy wide open window for many years. Do you do a 1 year Giannis thing and give up a ton of your young assets and players like Dylan Harper and guys like that to do it? I don't know. Like I'm not as convinced on that, right? So like it could diminish the market. I think somebody would probably do it ahead of the Knicks, but it could create a circumstance where I think the Knicks like get involved. I think that more than anything, what the Knicks want is they want this to extend into next offseason.
I'm actually on the fence about what I think the Knicks want, because I think they would love Giannis. Here's the reality. Excuse me. Here's the reality of where I think the Knicks are, and I have high expectations for Mikal Bridges this year. I think last year has now officially become an underrated season, or at least the slander against him that I may have participated in has a bit been overstated. There's a lot of things around him that did not create the best opportunity for him to succeed. If the Knicks don't trade for Mikal Bridges, I wonder if Giannis is a Knick right now. That if they enter that exclusive negotiating window and the Knicks haven't used their entire treasure chest that they like didn't use on Donovan Mitchell and didn't use on this star that got traded, and we're just like stacking picks, and we've got these extra picks from OKC from a draft night trade, and we've got the salary and Julius Randle to match, and we've just been waiting for the right opportunity to pounce. And that's honestly, as far as could the Knicks have gotten Giannis, my first thought when I saw this was like, oh, well, they already had a chance to, but they traded for Mikal Bridges instead. I don't think if
people
this
say that,
what's up?
And I don't think that that's true. Like, I don't think that they ever had a chance at Giannis prior to this. Like, I don't think Giannis was available prior to this.
But no, I'm saying like if they entered this summer without making the Mikal trade and they have all their picks, like they would have waited for Giannis.
They were always going to go in on somebody last summer, I think. Like, be it Mikal, be it somebody else. Like, it was always going to be somebody that they went for last summer. And then once they did the Mikal deal, they were always going to try and go get somebody else, Towns in this case, right? To make it a little bit better of a fit. So, like, I've seen Knicks fans play that game, and I understand the desire to, like, think about the opportunity cost of all this, but I just kind of think the reality was that, like, with Brunson and after doing the OG deal, they were always going to go in on somebody, was the reality. Like, I think that it was always just very unlikely that they were going to have these picks.
The only
you can say like whether or not that's smart. Yeah, I think that's fine, but I just think they were always going to do it at the end of the day.
Look, the situation they were in with Randall only having 1 year left, with OG locking him up long term, with Brunson probably the extension he agreed to being that summer, them also having to go get another Villanova teammate. I understand why last summer had so much urgency. You add in that Hartenstein left, that made them even more interested in locking up a core long term and not just doing like 1 to 2 year deals with guys because we're waiting for that big fish to come. I don't necessarily think it's like I want to give anyone that's like, if we didn't trade Mikal, which I just did, like if they didn't trade for Mikal Bridges, maybe Giannis is a Knick right now. You could have gotten somebody else that didn't cost you 4 unprotected firsts
Totally.
and the
Yeah.
Milwaukee pick. Because realize what I just said, the Milwaukee pick. Like if Giannis is frustrated before the draft and the Knicks have control of the Bucks pick on draft night and 4 or 3 other future protected firsts, they could have gone a different direction. But they were doubling and tripling down on friendship. And I was all for it at the time. I'm still kind of all for it. I like Mikal Bridges. I think he's going to be really good this year. The Knicks might win a title or at least make it to the finals this year. As far as if you're just looking in the vacuum of the Knicks' chances at Giannis, I personally think unless Giannis makes it very clear, which I don't think he's the type of person to do this, I'm only going to the Knicks. Don't trade for me next summer. I don't think this is a Knicks story to that much. I do agree with you. If this becomes a trade deadline negotiation, the pool of teams will potentially get bigger. I don't see the Knicks potentially getting involved in this, or at least being able to, not involved in this. I shouldn't say that. Being able to be the front runners in this at the end of the day.
If you can get 2 playoff runs for Giannis, I think you might just go in and say, screw it, we're doing it. If it's 1, I wonder if there's quite as big of a marketplace of teams.
It becomes Kawhi, right? It becomes a Kawhi situation. You have him for a year. The price would probably go down as a result. And you're trading for a guy that is going to free agency next year, which, correct me if I'm wrong, the other team that has like the other big market that could potentially just get him in free agency that Giannis could use as a power move is the Lakers in the summer of 2027. So like he could just say like, don't trade for me. I'm going to the Lakers, or to trade me where I want to go. I will use them as leverage as well.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's not wrong. I mean, the other example of this, if memory serves, Mitchell only had 1 year left, didn't he? He might have had 2.
He had 2. He had actually just signed an extension the year before he got traded, and then got traded in after the first year of, I guess not the new deal, but he had a 2-year.
No, he was on a 5-year extension at that point.
I forget what the terminology was. The Knicks were obviously heavily involved in that negotiation, so I knew we're getting him plus with 2 years before his next extension eligibility.
Yeah, it was 2. He had 2 years. You're right. So it is more Kawhi than it is Mitchell. But the idea here is the same, that like Mitchell, you needed to pay for, like you needed to go in and be like, we need to convince him to stay to make this worth the price. And same with Kawhi. Like the Raptors won a title, which is amazing. So it probably is a little bit closer to Kawhi. I think you probably are right about this.
Can I ask one last question to both of you? Is a quick rapid fire question. What team is Giannis representing in the All-Star game this year?
The Bucks.
The Bucks. Yeah. I agree. I just wanted to put it out there. Where do you project this going? I think he will also be a Milwaukee Buck for the All-Star game this year.
I'm like a little bit more willing to hear out the idea of them moving him mid-season than what other people are. But I would say that I think he's still a Buck mid-season for sure. I think they're going into the season hoping to be competitive, and the expectation would be that he's a Buck. And who knows, like if they win 50 games, which I don't think is likely, but I don't think is impossible, I guess I would say. Like Giannis is incredible and is unbelievably good at basketball. And you have Turner, who's a really good fit, and maybe Doc just like figures out a way to like make the defense like a total wall with him and Turner. Like, I'm not sitting here saying this is a thing that is real. I'm just saying that you just never know, right? Like, I'm sure the Bucks will offer him an extension. And if they win 50 and they win a playoff round, like, I don't know. I'm just like spitballing here and saying like, look, Giannis is, for as much as we think we know about Giannis, I think that we like haven't ever had him in a situation where he is like genuinely, truly come up against, I am in my prime. I have a team that might not be competitive right now. How do I handle this situation yet? So it's still a little bit more open than what I think people think, I guess is what I would say.
Yeah. Look, we talked about it when we did East over-unders, and we're about to talk about it in this draft. Like, is Giannis going to win 45 games? And that that is already a safe bet. The Bucks could make a midseason move to potentially get better. And then you have the best player in the conference already on your roster. That's just not a bad situation to be in, no matter where you are seeding wise going into the playoffs when the Pacers and maybe the Celtics. We'll talk about that as well come this draft we're about to have.
Yeah. And look, like, I don't love having this conversation, just frankly. I think it's still even like a little bit early to have this conversation, but it's one of the best players in the league. And there was this massive story now where it seems like we have an idea of where he might want to end up. And whether or not that's like likely is a real question to me. I think a lot depends on like how the Knicks season goes too. Do they feel like they have to go all in? Do they feel like they like are still a move away? I kind of think they've like made their moves on some level too. So, you know, it's kind of what your point was, Andrew. Let's go ahead and shout out our final sponsor before we get to the win total draft. Shout out to MIZZEN in Maine. Let's be honest, most dress clothes are uncomfortable, high maintenance, and just don't feel good to wear. You spend too much time ironing, dry cleaning, and tugging at stiff fabrics. That's why I love MIZZEN in Maine. MIZZEN in Maine makes classic menswear with performance fabrics, so it's effortless to look sharp and feel great. MIZZEN in Maine actually invented the performance fabric dress shirt over 10 years ago, and since then they've perfected it with modern fabrics. I'm a massive fan of MIZZEN in Maine. I absolutely wear MIZZEN in Maine stuff to go golfing. It is so comfortable. It is so airy. That high performance idea is very real. They take it seriously. And yet MIZZEN in Maine shirts and pants also look refined. And even though they look refined, they're stretchy, lightweight, and they're wrinkle resistant. It's amazing. They are machine washable. It's just such a good product, guys. I am such a big fan of MIZZEN in Maine. It is a timeless style that you can invest in once and enjoy for years. Right now, MIZZEN in Maine is offering our listeners 20% off your first purchase at mizzenandmain.com. MIZZENandmain.com. Promo code GAME20, GAME20. That's MIZZEN in Maine, promo code GAME20 for 20% off. MIZZEN in Maine, promo code GAME20. And if you'd rather shop in person, you can find MIZZEN in Maine stores in select states. Okay. It is time for the win total over under draft. So I created this concept a little while ago, and I think I like didn't totally share it with you because Andrew was a little bit confused on what the win total, as was Bryce as he's nodding his head, what the win total draft was going to be. So the way that we are going to do this is it is not a draft as simple as drafting a team with the most wins. I didn't like that idea because it focuses on like all the best teams in the league and everything like that. It's just less fun to me. You're drafting the same teams basically.
Easier math though.
Easier math, but that's fine. What this is, it is a win total projection draft essentially, where we are drafting teams based on how many wins over or under their projected win total they are going to go. So for an example, Oklahoma City is projected at 62.5 wins this year. If I draft the over on Oklahoma City's 62.5 wins and they win 68 games, the point total that I get is 5.5. Because the difference between 68 and 62.5 is 5.5. If they go under, when I picked the over, that means if they win 56 games, I get negative 6.5 points.
You know what I just realized? We can have the same teams. Like
correct.
I could draft the Thunder.
It.
Yeah, I could draft the Thunder over, and you could draft the Thunder under, over and then under. I just kind of connected those dots. This
You just connected
Instead
it
of
for me. Sam, this idea keeps getting better and better. Like, bravo, sir.
Instead of it being a potential draft
I'm
of
taking
like
the Sixers
30
over,
options,
the Sixers under. I'm
That's
doing
right.
it.
You can take both. Okay. Well,
Yes.
you're canceling out your own bet.
Yeah,
Your one
yeah,
pick,
yes.
unfortunately. So,
Yes.
all right. So I can take the
there could
Bucks
be
and
a
be like,
team.
they're gonna get the over, or I can take the Bucks and they're gonna trade Giannis. They're gonna take the under. Yeah.
Exactly right. And we're not removing a team from the board if one of us takes them. Instead of it being 30 options of teams, there are 60 options of teams that can be taken.
Yeah.
So that was my theory on this being a little bit more fun than just like a wins draft or something like that, right? So like there's a little bit more strategy involved. It's more of like a confidence interval draft. Like, who are you most confident in exceeding expectations is kind of my idea. So it's like the team that you're most confident in compared to consensus, basically.
Think we need to talk to the game theory marketing team about confidence interval draft. That doesn't roll off the tongue as well. But so we'll come up with a. I like NBA projections draft is up there. I've done the wins draft before, and I think the fact that this is just like a better spin on it, it makes it much more fun.
To be clear, the way that you have titled this in the YouTube projected wins draft is absolutely what it's called.
Okay, good. There you go. Perfect. It's
It is the projected wins draft. Okay. So I hope that I've laid out the rules. Do we think that I've done enough to explain what the rules are here, what the scoring is? We are each going to take 5 teams. We are not doing the whole league or anything. We are each going to take 5 teams that we are confident in.
I'm in. I'm very excited now. A whole other side of the draft just opened up for me. It's like I found out I have an extra pick in the first round. And I'm still going to take Zach Wilson, unfortunately. But yeah, I'm ready.
So, Andrew, I'm going to let you pick first.
You don't want to do a game of high card draw to see who gets the first pick?
I don't, because I want it to be easy, just going on
for
the screen, right to left to right.
Okay. Yeah. Well, there you go. So then I will go first. Was not prepared for the first pick. Got to be totally honest with you. But I will go with the team that I am the most confident in hitting their over, and that is the Denver Nuggets. They will be my first pick in the draft. The Denver Nuggets over. They are currently at 53.5. The reason that I'm skeptical that I wanted to get the Nuggets for one, because they're the one that I'm positive with Jokic, who just doesn't miss games. Will not like 53 is just a lot of wins to get, so there's not a lot of room ahead. However, I think this is potentially a 60-win team, which already there is a good 6.5. So at least my guarantee in my mind of hitting it over is the Denver Nuggets. So I'll go there first.
Love it. I had the Nuggets on my list of if I really have to, to get to 15 selections. So they were definitely a team that was in play for me, but wasn't one of my more I think I'm going to try to swing for the fences here early on, and they weren't one of my swing for the fences. But to your point, I understand what you're saying, just getting on the board almost.
I also think there's a team you kind of have to take. So I'm gonna just leave that for you. Bryce.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Preseason predictions and confidence drafts. Be damned. There's a team I know that Bryce needs to take in this draft.
I will eventually. Yes.
Okay. Unless Sam takes him.
Well, I'm gonna take Sam.
But Bryce is going second.
And I'm gonna take his team.
Oh no.
Sam's gonna be pissed, I think, which is part of why I'm gonna do this. I'm going to take a team that I was very much over. And it's not the team that GMAC is talking about. It is actually the Toronto Raptors.
Wow, he did it.
This is gross.
Oh, Bryce, you did it.
So I'm taking the Raptors because when we talked over-unders, this was a team that I don't know.
I can't believe you're doing this to me and taking my
amazing.
Toronto Raptors.
You can take my Atlanta Hawks. You have 2 picks coming up. Be my guest. So I kind of separated this into do I think this team has a real chance of getting 5 or more over, 5 or more under? And then I have like the variance teams that Toronto was like the only team I really felt good about going 5 over. Like just like truly, like I just think they're going to do that with even more upside potential. And so this was like a safe pick. This is my version of a safe pick early. I realize it could go south, but this is a very talented team in the Eastern Conference. Plus Sam wanted to pick them, so it makes it even better.
This is just so rude and disgusting on your part, Bryce.
I've gotten
I
really
respect it.
Listen, Sam, I started this episode talking about how much of an asshole father I am. What made you think I wasn't going to do this to you?
Look, here's the thing with the Raptors. I just think that they have a lot of depth and a lot of talent to where, look, I have questions on like the high end upside, and we've talked about that before. But between Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, Jakob Poeltl, RJ Barrett, Emmanuel Quickly, Colin Murray-Boyles. I did watch a little bit of their first, or I can't remember if it was their first or second preseason game. I'm like a little bit off. I watched a preseason game, and man, he is flying around on defense and looks like he's going to be an impact player early for them on defense. I am like I'm even more excited about Toronto in that 37.5 number than what I was previously. I think that Toronto is going to, again, I said that like when we do bold predictions, one of my bold predictions is Toronto is just a playoff team, not a play-in team. And I think that remains the case. So this was unsurprisingly the number one pick for me on my board. I would have taken Toronto.
It was as well for me.
They have the biggest room above their over-under, which was 37.5. And if this is like a 47-win team at the end of the day, that's like a 10-point jump right there.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. So I'm taking one over and one under here. I'll take the over first. I'm going to go over 46.5 for Golden State.
Interesting.
I think Golden State is going to come out and like really try to stack regular season wins is my theory. I think that they're going to want to come out and like really be able to potentially rest some guys a little bit later in the year, obviously, but also to try and get like a home court kind of vibe. If they're able to get one, their number's only 46.5. I saw yesterday that Pelton has them at like 56.5 wins or 56.2 wins projected right now. They were amazing after Jimmy Butler got there. They were one of the best defenses in the league after Jimmy Butler got there. And as much as Trace Jackson Davis like is fine, and they lose Kevon Looney, who has a lot of institutional knowledge of their defensive structure, I think Al Horford is an upgrade for them on both ends of the court at the center position because of the ability to space the floor on offense and because of just he's not moving quite as well as he used to. Like he's not like a full scale switch center or anything like he used to be, but he's still really smart and he does have the ability to move with guards on the perimeter. Yeah, I think that they're going to win 50 games is where I'm at. I think they win 50 plus games. And I am a big fan of what I have seen from Golden State to this point.
Yeah, they ended up in my just stay away column. But I think I'm just a touch. I don't want to say lower. I think they're going to be really good. And I caught one of their preseason games, and Horford looked really good in that game. And yeah, I mean, I think this makes sense, especially if you believe in them just a little bit more. And you're right, like the Curry, Draymond, Butler stuff, has played out really well so far.
Okay. For my second pick, I am going with the under for the Philadelphia 76ers.
Well done.
To me, it's definitely a high variance pick. Like it is unequivocally a high variance pick where this could go very poorly for me. They could win 53 games or something like that. But the reason I'm going with the under here is because Joel Embiid is still has boxes to tick, I guess, is the way that Kyle Neubeck put it in terms of injuries before he plays. Paul George is like, going through contact work now, I guess, which is good. But, he's still dealing with his knee stuff. Seems like he's going to play the opener, but, I would imagine that like Paul George is getting up there. Like, he might not be playing 65 games this year. Jared McCain's already hurt. Don't really have like a 4-man if Paul George is out, right? So like that gets a little bit tricky. I mean, I think if Joel plays under 50 games this year, this goes under, like, by a pretty real number. And they might have to like really start looking at like finding a way to pivot out of this on some level. On top of it, like if they're just right around 500, I think, like right around what this number is, they're probably going to do tax avoidance at the deadline. Like they're like 8 million over the tax right now. I think they would probably try and move like Kelly Olynyk or something like that to get under the tax. So this could totally backfire. I think that this team has real upside to win 50 games, and I absolutely would not be stunned if that happens. But there are enough injuries already here, and we've already seen the downside of what this can be, that I think this is like a pretty high upside pick for me to go under on the Philadelphia 76ers.
It's a great call. I didn't have them on my initial list whenever I made out a list of teams like I was willing to pick, and then I had to fill out at least 15 teams or picks, I guess, over unders. So I, made sure I was, had enough, and they very quickly made the list again because of what you just said. Just like the high variant, the upside here is very reasonable and kind of tough to pass up.
Okay. Bryce, you're up at pick 5.
I'm gonna stay on brand, and I'm gonna go with the Portland Trailblazers here with the over, to be clear. This is a team that we've talked a lot about going back to last year. Listen, I have real worries about the upside in terms of scoring. Shaden Sharp, as you mentioned at the top of the episode, looked pretty good. If he has a year where he's averaging 20 plus, it answers some of those questions. But I think this team is going to be really good defensively. We've talked about Deni Avdija. We've talked about Tamani Kamara, Klingen, in year 2, adding a Drew Holiday. So I'm going to go here. I feel confident they at least get to this 30-ish win total, with the possibility of other injuries in the West or something like that going a little higher. So I like Portland here with my second pick.
I mean, look, we've talked a lot about the Blazers. I really like this Blazers team. It's very similar to, if you're a team that doesn't really have like a superstar, right? And like really might not have an all-star. We'll see what Deni can become. We'll see what Scoot can become, what Shaden, can become. He looks great so far in preseason. It's not dissimilar from how I would try to build a team, just like defense first, really try and, muck the game up, be physical. We saw that from them late in the season last year in a really impressive way. So I get it. I do like this. I like the idea of this at least.
So here's the deal. Really like both of your picks, Bryce. 2 projected 30 mid-30s teams, a lot of room to go over. Really like both of your picks, Sam. Both of those, both the Philly under and the Golden State over are good bets. And I like your guys' picks so much. I'm kind of hating mine, which is just not good draft strategy. So this is one of those things where, because you get the 1 pick, you're stuck then also getting the 6th best pick. So I don't know if it's just good signs for your draft if you like everybody else's picks more than yours already through 2 rounds of a draft. But I'm on the spot now, and I guess on the clock now, and I have to take 2 different picks. I guess I'll do it. I will take the Atlanta Hawks over, and I have the same thoughts, Bryce. I have them as around a 50-win team, I believe, in this conference. Yeah, but I have them as a 51-win team is when I did all the numbers out. I have the same thoughts about, or projections about, what they did with their roster. I remember what they were when Jalen Johnson was healthy last year, how much of a pain they were to play, putting Trey with a stretch 5, however healthy Porzingis is this season. You need some second half shooting continued, the continued success that they got from Dyson Daniels and Reece Shea. Yeah, I'll go with the Atlanta Hawks with an over on 46.5. That'll be my first pick here.
Okay.
I like it.
Yeah, I mean, we know Bryce likes it. I like it. Like, I think it's fine. I don't know what the upside is on this one. Like, I feel like they're probably gonna be like it. I think I would say at best, like probably 50, right, Bryce? Like,
Yeah.
we don't think they win like 52, 53, do we?
That's the ceiling. But no, I'm probably a 50 win. Like I think there's a 50 win potential team here. But yeah, that's probably so. But that's what? That's still 3.5 points if they get there.
Yeah.
4.5 points. So
And also to Andrew's point, like barring a Trae Young like catastrophic injury or something, the upside or the downside here, I think, is pretty limited. Like they're going to win 40 games, like for sure, as long as Trae's healthy, I think. So I do like that. I think I like this pick. Yeah. This is on my list at least.
You guys could just say that it stinks if you want to. Like,
no,
between the
I
Denver
would have.
I
picks-
know.
I would have taken them next.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Would not have taken them next, but on my list.
Look, there is a
Sure.
chance that I'm just setting up like I'm tanking in this draft, and it's okay. Like, do we have a punishment for who finishes last, or can I just try to finish last and say, look how impressive it was that I finished 30 points behind both Bryce and Sam? Look, I'm staring at a team that they're the biggest question mark for me because the internet is a thing and it keeps telling me things. So the Boston Celtics are at 40.5. It came out today that Jason Tatum has informed the Celtics he wants to play at the end of this season. I do not like the talent on this roster. Everything we all discussed last week when doing their over-under, and both of you went under, and I had the word under written on my cheat sheet all week in preparing for that pod. And then a video came out the morning of the pod, and it was Jason Tatum looking like he was a week away from playing again. And I was like, that's not a guy that's going to miss the next 6 months. I will say, I do think Jason Tatum, based off of everything I've read about when he got the surgery and the advancements in modern medicine and how you can heal an Achilles quicker, I think he will be like medically cleared to play sometime late March, after like actually practicing with the team and doing scrimmages for like 2 straight months. There is a world he could come back and play. The problem is, I don't think this team's going to be at all good enough, and I think that fact that they are so close to, like, they will probably want to make another move to avoid the tax come deadline to make them even worse. And like the Sixers last year, where a team thought they were going to be contending and then suddenly is now going the other way with it, you go full Portland pivot. So I think I will take the Boston Celtics under 40.5 because there is a chance that even against Jason Tatum's wishes, and it would be an accomplishment for him to come back less than like 6 months later and be on the court. I think this is a year the Celtics take a step back and potentially explore what it's like to be in a lottery again, which there's some room under 40.5 wins in order to do that. So I'll take the Boston Celtics under 40.5.
Love it.
I think the big key that you said there is that they probably are going to try to move guys to get under the tax.
Yeah.
Right. Like the fact that this team is probably not going to be as talented as what it is right now come February is like an important part of taking this under. It creates a little bit more variance, I think, for them. Like I think that this team is presently constructed is probably right around this number, but there's like real floor there. Like they could end up at like 28, 29 wins if, you know, Jaylen Brown gets hurt and they like really tank, and like they could really, really fall off. Like again, if Derek White or even Jaylen Brown get hurt, like if one of those two guys go down, like it's a real problem for them. The more I think about this, the more it's a high variance pick. It's not dissimilar from what I did with Philly, but there's some real upside, I think, for you.
Yeah.
Bounce
Nice.
back pick.
All
I'll
right.
take it.
All right. I'm going to go with one that if their second best player was fully healthy right now and not on social media shooting with his left hand instead of his right hand, I think would have been selected already. I'm going to take the Oklahoma City Thunder here. And I realize this is a huge number already for a team, but as we talked about, this is a team that has the potential to go and win upper 60s, as we saw last year.
And you're taking the over, to be clear, right?
Absolutely clear. That we saw win upper 60s last year. And honestly, I may have taken him earlier, but I just saw that, like, I'm a little nervous, like, when does J-Dub start playing? But if there's ever a roster to, like, work through it and figure out, which we saw last year with their big man situation, it is the Thunder. So I will go very happily with the Thunder here in the third round. Whatever round, Braun. I think it's the third round. My third pick.
Bryce spiked me again. Disgusting. This is absolutely disgusting that you've done this to me. Yeah, I was gonna take the under. I was gonna take the over here. Look, Chet and Hartenstein both missed a ton of time last year, and they were still at like 66 or whatever. Yeah, I think this team has a chance to win like 68 or so, like pretty easily.
68 last year. Like this is
year.
They had all that time missing, and they're a juggernaut. I endorse this pick. Well done, Bryce.
Thank you.
Even more so,
It's a great pick.
that it went right through Sam's back.
Oh, yeah. I knew that also. Don't think that wasn't part of the strategy here.
Absolutely stabbed me in the heart. Okay.
Raleigh's secretly making these picks just to piss Sam off.
Yeah, right. Like, what are we
obviously
doing here? Okay. This gets hard now. This gets very difficult.
Ayo.
I don't like this at all. I don't like where I'm at. Not happy with Bryce at this point. Okay. I'm gonna go, and I feel bad about doing this because I really like the way this team like constructs things and goes about it and everything. It's really just an injury concern for me. I don't know if they're gonna be like catastrophic. It's just I think there is like real downside if things like turn poorly for them. Man, this is a bad idea. I'm not doing this.
You want to talk it out?
So I was thinking about Memphis is under, right?
I was staring at it too. Yeah.
Just because Ja's already out, Jaren is injured, Zach Edey is injured, Brandon Clark is injured, like
the West.
But the thing is that
they have Cam
when Jaren and but when Jaren and Ja are healthy and they're playing together, this team's going to be good, I think. And if they play like 55 games together, they probably win 32 of those games, right?
Ty Jerome looked awesome all the other night, by the way, too, Sam. Like, awesome.
Right. So, like, in the other games, there would be what, like 27 games? They'd have to win 8 out of 27, right? Which is like 8 and 19. It's incredibly low. Man. All right. I'm going to take the under for the Pelicans. Let's go there.
There you go.
We'll start.
Wait, so we did all of that and you didn't? What?
Yeah, we're going under with the Pelicans.
We talked through the Grizzlies and then he just snapped his fingers to the Pelicans.
That's amazing.
That's correct.
Yeah.
I decided against it. I did my calculations and I was like, I don't know that this feels right. So I've seen the Pelicans live.
Do they play defense?
No. And look, I saw them without Herb, so I don't want to sit here and say that, I saw them at full strength or anything. Looney did not play a ton of minutes in the game that I saw. I think Looney's actually going to be like, Looney will actually tell the tale. Like, I don't think Willie Green's a bad defensive coach, as I think people, have hit me about on Blue Sky and stuff. Like, that Willie Green can actually like figure out a defense. I think Missy, man, in the game that I saw against Melbourne United, he had like no idea where he was on defense. Like, he was terrible. Consistently got caught in no man's land in ball screen coverages. So that worries me because it says that there hasn't been a lot of growth year 1 to year 2 there, when in reality, like, it's probably the thing that will most tell the tale of his career is he needs to make growth in that respect. He's a great kid. Like, I would expect that it will come at some point, but right now, is what it is. So it's Looney, it's Missy, and then like I don't know what else they're doing like at the center position. Like it's, you know, Carlo Matkovic. Maybe you play some small Giannis lineups or small Zion lineups. I'm sorry. Derek Queen is injured right now. And God, when Derek Queen gets out there, it's going to be rough on defense, I think, early on for him. So then you have Jordan Poole, who like doesn't really defend. Trey Murphy looks awesome. The thing that worries me is that both Zion and Trey Murphy look awesome right now. Just like physically, they are jacked. Like they look ready to go. But I don't see a world where this is a particularly good defense. And if anybody gets hurt, and this is an injury prone team, if anybody gets hurt, it's a real problem for them depth wise. So I think as of right now, as presently constructed, this team would go over. But it's an injury prone team that doesn't have a ton of depth, in my opinion, that is ready to help you win games. So I'm going under on the Pelicans with my next pick, under 30.5.
I like it. That was one of mine as well.
You made that case very strong last Thursday, so I'm not surprised, Bryce. But I'm surprised Sam ended up with it because he was more lukewarm. Like I was never staring at the Pelicans over, even though I have them hitting the over this year.
Yeah, the problem is that, like, again, if Zion is good, like if Zion's healthy, like they're gonna be fine. I think.
Bold
right,
I, bold F. If.
Yeah, pick 10. I'm gonna go Wizards under.
Yeah,
as well.
Also on my list.
This team is incredibly young,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying to get back into the lottery to find like the guy. They still don't really have the guy. I think Trey Johnson, like, maybe has a chance at that, but like I don't think he's like the number one guy. I think he's probably like a 2 or a 3, maybe a 3, honestly. But Trey's like a real dude. Sar, we'll see. Bilal, we'll see. Bub, we'll see. Cam Whitmore like might be really exciting this year to get a chance to like really play, as we talked about when we did this over under. Like they don't have a lot at the 4 right now. He could be that like power, you know, small ball 4 that I think would be really fun. And on top of that, like CJ McCollum and Chris Middleton, they both have like bird rights things that I think could keep them in the organization just like a little bit longer than what people would expect. But also, they might just be gone. You never know. Like they might go away at some point and just trade. They might trade those guys or get rid of them. And Corey Kispert as well is like another guy that like teams I think would look at trade wise as being a real option. So I think this team has like a real chance to win like 12, 13 games because they are incredibly skinny, not great on defense, like just very young, and young teams don't win games. It's not like I'm like not excited about what they're capable of long term potentially. It's just that short term, I think this is probably not going to be a great team.
Yeah, they were one of my teams here. I may just have to stay with over teams just to keep the trend. But I think if you would not have selected them, they would have come up fairly soon for me.
I have a different team that is around where the Wizards over under is that I'm more considering the under. Yeah, that I'm targeting. We'll see if Bryce takes it from me like he's been doing to you. But yeah, I an under on a team like this is not an insane pick at all.
Yep. I'm going to rock overs, and I don't like this at all. And I don't even necessarily like this roster, but this team consistently wins 39 or 40 games, and their over under right now is 32
I thought
and a half.
about this.
I'm going to take the Chicago Bulls, and I hate it and I don't like it, and I hope I'm wrong, but ultimately at this point, like whatever. Like, I mean, 3 straight years, Giddey comes in and puts up numbers like he did at the end of last year. I thought Modest looked decent the other day. Kobe White wasn't even playing. What scares me is like, what does the roster look like post trade deadline? Like, who do they keep? Who do they not? But they don't always make great decisions. Or heck, they may be buyers at the deadline for all we know. I feel decent with this with my 4th pick. So
no team has ever won between 38 and 40 games 4 years in a row.
Oh, okay. So that means they're going to win 42.
Yeah, they might go over. Who knows?
That's
But
amazing.
That's the rarefied air that the Bulls will be trying to
And
travel in.
They might hang a banner for it. The four-peat.
The four-peat of
The
38 to 40.
The four-peat that never was their first four-peat as an organization.
Yeah, I was
love
gonna
it
say
so
right
much.
next to the other three-peats that they have up there. Those
Yes.
banners. Yeah.
Yes.
That's amazing.
All right, Andrew, you're up for your final two picks.
Final two picks. Let's get this out the way. I agree with everything you said about the Wizards, and that's a very safe pick to take their under. For all of those reasons, as well as that, I strangely enough, because of who their veterans are, don't think they have as much talent as the Wizards. I'm taking the Brooklyn Nets under. It's at 21.5, so it's even higher than the Wizards. The only way I think they hit this is because I like their coach a lot, and because I think Cam Thomas is going to be looking to get off that team by sometime in February or January. So he might be getting a lot of points. But I think I mentioned this last week. The fact that they were given this gift of getting their picks back before making the Mikal Bridges trade, and have really rebuilt this in the way that they has given them a clear path and identity to be bad. And I will just add one other thing. They're going to be 11th on the list, but we had a portion of the show we talked about Giannis, right? Just not ruling out that if Giannis wants to go to New York, there's another team that may have all the picks that Milwaukee might be interested in. So if the Knicks are out, but Giannis is dead set on New York, the KOC thing about commercial flights to Teterboro is like the thing, right?
I don't even know. Is that even like true?
I don't think it is. It is true that like the only place to go directly to Greece is, I guess, through Teterboro, but or I guess it was
like Giannis
Newark.
is flying private. Like that's
commercial. I've never flown to Greece, so I wouldn't know how's the best place to get there from New York personally. So, I think the Nets have a chance to win 12 games this year. There's a world this is as bad as the team that won 12 the year that they drafted Derek Favors and fell in the lottery that year. So I'll take the Brooklyn Nets under. A lot of youth. You mentioned the youth on the Wizards. This one doesn't have a CJ McCollum or a Chris Middleton, and just drafted 5 rookies. So a lot of youth. For my last pick, I might as well stick with what I know best. I will take the New York Knicks over.
Like it.
I think 53.5 is the number, but you want to talk about the vibes being somewhat immaculate at the moment in New York. My thought has always been, I think this regular season will be more enjoyable than last year, more exciting than last year. They'll look better than last year. I know it's weird to anybody outside of New York to hear, what are you talking about? Last year looked bad. You won 51 games, got the 3 seed, and had the 5th best offense. Like, we always knew they were going to have defensive problems, and you missed Jalen Brunson for a month. When I tell you how stagnant their offense was and how their path to victory was play close, and then hopefully you can come back and win because Jalen Brunson is outstanding in clutch time, then that there should be, with the offensive talent, other paths to victory than let's eke out wins over teams like Brooklyn, like Washington. And now that there seems to be an offensive system being put in place that will maximize the offense, I think there's a world the ceiling of this team could win 60 games. My concerns about them are that I don't think they fixed their biggest postseason problem, and it's that teams can take advantage of Brunson and Cat in the pick and roll, and a team might do that come playoff time. So with my concerns about them being very much about the postseason, I will make a bet on the Knicks regular season and take the New York Knicks over.
They were one of my high variance teams, GMAC. I actually thought about taking them a little earlier just to take your team from you. I ultimately obviously went some other paths, but they were a high variance team for me. So I like it, especially here in the 5th round.
Okay. Bryce, you're up.
Okay, so this was
you
another
snake my last team.
Oh, I'm doing it.
I'm
rooting
so
for it.
frustrated.
I'm rooting for it.
I'm quite positive I'm going to do it. I'm going to take the Indiana Pacers over.
Okay, you're not.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't love the TJ McConnell injury news that came out today. Surprisingly, like that TJ McConnell being hurt, like for this team that's already obviously without Tyrese Halliburton. I don't know. This may be a lesson learned that the good vibes and chemistry can't carry over from one year to the next, especially when your best player is hurt and you lose your stretch big. I'm still just buying into it just because I still think there's a lot of talent. We've talked about Andrew Nembhard. This could be a huge Benedict Mathurin in terms of at least scoring the basketball. Pascal Siakam's still on this team. I love Jay Huff. I don't think there's major upside here. I think they probably get to their win total. And if things do really come together and Nembhard is awesome and McConnell, gets back and is healthy, I think maybe there's a little bit here. So I'm going to go with the Pacers here. Just, I need some good vibes to go along with the Bulls pick I just made.
Okay. So I'll go last here. It's a team we've talked about a lot this summer, a team that we're excited about. I'm going to go with the Orlando Magic over 50.5.
Yep.
I was pretty convinced that this is what you were going to do because we've talked about it a lot.
I thought about it. I think it was a little bit of the ceiling. Probably if I had more time to like really discuss it, be like, okay, do I feel better about Indiana getting a few more wins than they're at, or Orlando going into the mid 50s? Like I probably could be talked into it. So they were on my list.
Yeah. I don't feel like amazing about this, but I think that the rest of them, like I feel like just fine about. My big thing is that I see very limited downside with this pick, honestly, just because we know what Orlando does in the regular season. We know that they're going to be very good on defense. Even with Paulo missing 40 games, Wagner missing 25 games, and Suggs missing like 50 games last year, Carter missing 15 games, like Mo Wagner missing most of the season. This team still won 41 games last year. And if they get even remotely lucky in terms of injury, plus with Desmond Bane, I think this team probably wins like 52, 53, 54. But I think more than anything, there's just like kind of limited downside with this one. I'm trying to mitigate my losses given that like Philadelphia could be a pretty catastrophic one for me if they end up being fully healthy. Or it could be like just massive for me. It could like win. Philadelphia is either going to win or lose the draft. Like that's the reality.
I mean, you picked two super high variance teams based on health. Like you get healthy Philly and healthy Pelicans, and you're screwed.
Gosh. Yeah, you have Giannis.
Oh, totally.
Not Giannis.
Yeah.
You have Embiid and Zion on your teams. Like, and you have them in the right direction too. The under on both. So you're playing the trends. It's a smart.
I'm playing the trends here in terms of what we're doing. But yeah, no, I just think the world of what Orlando is doing right now in terms of just like trying to maximize what they have and maximize the upside swings that they've, taken with Franz and Paulo, and we'll see what happens, right? And they have defensive infrastructure to be very, very good. Yeah, Orlando Magic, 50 wins. Let's do it. Over. Okay. Let's recap the draft here. Andrew, you went number 1. You go first and tell us what you picked.
I went Denver over 53.5, Atlanta over 46.5, Boston under 40.5, Brooklyn under 21.5, and the New York Knicks over 53.5.
Bryce.
So with my first pick, I went the Toronto Raptors, who nobody else wanted, so I gladly took them. The over at 37.5. As it came back around, I took the much discussed Portland Trail Blazers over at 33.5. Staying with the over, I took the defending NBA champs at 62.5. Another over, the very predictable average Chicago Bulls at 32.5, and finished off with the Pacers at 38.5. All 5 overs for me.
I feel like I'm the only one that went like aggressive on the unders in this thing. So I have more unders than I do overs. I've got Golden State over 46.5, the 76ers under 42.5, the New Orleans Pelicans under 30.5, the Washington Wizards under 20.5, and then the Orlando Magic over 50.5. we'll have to figure out what we want to do here. We said like dinner at Summer League. I don't know that that's going to be the case because I'll probably just end up paying for dinner.
I was gonna say whoever wins, dinner on Sam.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We'll figure out something though. We'll figure out some sort of like punishment or victory. Maybe the winner picks dinner at Summer League.
It could just
the
be like
move.
a show thing. Like if whoever
I
wins,
have to watch one of your stupid movies if I
Yes.
lose.
Ooh.
you have to watch
And then
you
give,
can just pull out the Criterion Collection. That's one thing.
and then give my whatever review.
If I
Yes.
yeah, if
You
I
have to open a
win,
Letterboxd account.
yeah, Bryce needs
I'll quit
to
the podcast
watch.
if I open a letterbox.
I'll think about a movie that Bryce needs to watch.
So
that would be
knowing
very
Bryce,
funny.
It can't be scary though. No scary movies.
that's fine. I think making Bryce watch The Brutalist and has to do it in one sitting.
Oh wow,
Yeah,
that'd actually be
where
very funny.
That's
on.
where it
Hold
goes.
on.
Yeah, The Brutalist.
That's actually a good idea, Andrew.
Yeah. My suggestion was gonna be if it's a punishment towards me, I have to do like a show with you guys wearing Yankee gear the entire time, or like full Celtics paraphernalia, or really the Sixer paraphernalia would be the
Hold
worst.
up. Stop.
You don't get to do the intermission either, Bryce.
I'll watch anything I'll do anything other than that. I will 3.5 hours.
Yeah, and there's an intermission that you have to.
What is
you're not
that?
allowed
What
to
is
leave.
an intermission? What
Like
what?
2 hours and 20 minutes into the movie stops and a thing comes up on screens and says the movie will continue in 20 minutes.
That's dumb.
Yeah.
Well,
It's like a Broadway
theaters
play.
needed
Yeah.
to pee.
I understand.
Yeah.
And I've never
Yeah.
been to one, as you guys can imagine. And there's
I've also never been to a Broadway play. I've been.
Yeah,
to
my
theaters,
bad.
but
I
I've
forgot.
never
Those
been
are
to
like an
Broadway.
annual thing for me. I apologize. It's my privilege
Oh
there.
my
did
goodness.
it
Yeah.
get good ratings? Is it a good movie?
Yeah.
I just-
Was nominated for like 11 Oscars or something.
Yeah. The lead in that,
Lead in
Adrian
that,
Brody, won Best Actor. Yeah.
I don't trust
very
those
good.
awards.
Yeah.
It's not like one of the best films ever made, but it's very good, I thought. Okay. We'll figure this out at a later date. Andrew, tell the people where they can find your work. Tell the people what's going on.
Find me at over at Knicks Film School. We're breaking down wall-to-wall coverage of Giannis this week, but also of actual basketball. The Knicks, as we're currently playing, the Minnesota Timberwolves welcome home Dante DiVincenzo and Julius Randle in the preseason. So we'll have our reaction and our recap to that, as well as all Knicks games throughout the season. I'll be doing the pregame show still. So when the Knicks play the Pistons, you can catch Bryce over at Knicks Film School, which should be very fun. Follow me on all socials at Andrew J. Claudio _. And of course, with the fine folks over at Game Theory Sam V. With like more social content coming very soon. And I'll just make sure I also, in collaboration with you two, sign up for Substack. These guys are doing great work over at the Game Theory Substack. $6 a month. So for the cup of coffee, maybe like less than a cup of coffee in America today, you get some great film breakdowns over at the Substack. So check over at the Game Theory Substack. You get the QR code on the screen. Drops it to your inbox every morning in your email. You just click, and then Bryce again did an 8-minute breakdown of Cooper Flagg's debut against the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he was very good. And then Sam's got some breakdowns coming in the not too distant future. So I'll also co-sign. Check out the Game Theory Substack. Well,
so tomorrow on the Substack, I made a promise to Nick in the YouTube comments here that I will do Shaden Sharp. This is an easy lift. Shaden played like 22 minutes or whatever in that game against the Golden State Warriors, but looked very good, and I'm excited to break it down because I had a great time watching him. Really excited to do that. Like I said, did 2 Michael Brown videos. Next week, we will have, I think, 2 Darren Peterson videos going up. I mean, guys, like, DP is a joke. Like, I mean, Bryce, have you watched a ton of Darren yet?
Not a ton, but enough.
Here's a little preview. I think Darren Peterson is the most polished prep guard I've scouted in like the decade I've been doing this. in terms of like as a shot creator, mixing the passing with the scoring, the pull-up scoring, the ability to finish at the rim, like all of it is just there. He is unbelievable. Those will be up next week. Tomorrow from me will be a Shaden Sharp breakdown. Bryce Bryce has a Cooper Flag breakdown up on the channel already. We have some AJ DeBanza stuff going on. We have some AJ DeBanza stuff up already there. We have Dash Daniels. We have Karim Lopez. There's a lot of really, really good stuff up on the Substack already. Go subscribe there. Don't want to totally announce a project I have at The Athletic yet because we're still trying to figure out some things there to still, work on. But I will let you know in the future when I have bigger projects coming over on The Athletic, which will happen very soon. Go hit the subscribe button over on YouTube. Up over 76,000 YouTube subscribers. We appreciate you guys immensely. Go subscribe on the podcast feed, Spotify, Apple, whatever platforms you guys use. We will be back on Sunday. And Bryce, I don't think you know the schedule yet. I will just tell you now. On Sunday, we will be doing a mock draft back and forth. Our first 2026 NBA mock draft. I wanted to kind of get into it like a few weeks before the season started and kind of dig in and dive in. So I'm excited to do that. I'm sure you have like a list already, right?
Yeah. I have a board. Like it's going to change a lot, but I mean, I have my names. So yeah.
I have my names. I will give people like a bit of a preview. I am a little bit less excited about this draft class than what I think some people are. I am extremely excited at the top. I think all of the hype about the top three guys is like on some level justified and warranted. It's the rest of it that I'm a little bit questionable about right now. But we'll talk about that on Sunday. Until next time, we'll talk soon.